Welcome to another edition of Christy's Court right here on the Field of 68 Network. We are so overjoyed to be joined today by the one, the only, the magician, Ticha Penicheiro. Welcome to Christy's Court, Tish. We appreciate your time today.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Christy. I'm always down to talk about women's basketball, and you do such a fabulous job at it. So, it's always good to be your guest and talk about women's basketball. Let's talk about it.
I love it. I love it so much. And listen, first of all, happy birthday. I know you recently celebrated a birthday, and we are just so joyful that you celebrated another run around the sun. But let's walk it back to baby Tish. And when did you first watch basketball, play basketball, fall in love with the game?
At a young age, my brother and my father played basketball, and so I have an older brother. He's almost 5 years older than me. So by that time I was 6, he was already going on 11. So there was basketballs all over the house. My dad then became a coach, and it was just natural to me. I fell in love right away, and I was very lucky because growing up in Portugal, I had a playground right next door to my house. So I was very, very lucky. All I had to do was cross the street, and I spent countless hours there. A lot of times the only girl amongst the boys that didn't think that I could play at first. So, but yeah, it was love at first sight for sure.
So you said at first, so you were dropping people on the ground, making those passes, or what? When did you make a name for yourself on that court?
I'm going to call it an old stereotype, but I think it's not old because I think it still exists. But, girls can play. So, yeah, I mean, when you come in with your ball and you see all boys and then you be like, what is she doing here? And I'm like, I'm here to kick your butt, and then actually I just went back in June because they refurbished the court, and the city hall basically put my picture on the floor. So I don't know if it's named after me, but they refurbished the court, and is an amazing honor because that's where everything started. Like I said, I spent countless hours there playing, and that's where I fell in love with the game. So it's good to go back now, and because that court brings back so many memories, and now I can see my picture there, and so it's amazing.
Well, I'm sure that's inspiring another generation of hoopers. Wow, that is amazing. I have to take a look at that. You have to share that picture with me because I'm going to share that because that is a beautiful full circle story, Tish. And when you got into school age, and when was your first time that you played organized basketball on a team?
So my dad was the coach, and it's completely different in Europe. For those that don't know, we don't really play in school like high school and then college. Everything is club oriented. So my parents took me to my first club, and there was no women's team, no girls team for my age group. So again, I had to play with the boys, organized basketball. And I looked like a little boy too. I had a bowl cut, and my dad was the coach, and he was so hard on me. I thought he was harder on me than anybody else. But that's kind of how I started. I was already like 10, 11. And then to play with the girls, I always played with older girls because there was never like any team my age group. So I always played above my age. And then I developed the desire of coming to America and just try my shot at the best country to kind of grow my game. And so here I am, and I'm still here,
I know that's right. Hey, when you came to Old Dominion University, Tish, I was coaching at the time. I was a young coach, just came from playing overseas and all that. But oh my gosh, I had never seen a player like you. You were just head and shoulders in terms of your skill set, understanding of the game. Wendy Larry was the storied head coach there that you played for. What was it about Old Dominion that got you there? And what was it about Wendy Larry that convinced you that Old Dominion was the place for you?
So it's an interesting story because actually I went to Old Dominion because Alison Green was playing professional in Portugal after she graduated from Dartmouth. I was 16. I was playing with the Portuguese national team, and we played against her club team. And after the game, she came up to me. She was like, you should go to the States. Like, you're very skilled. I said, I want to go, but I don't know what to do. Okay, this is back in 1992. So there's no internet, there's no cell phones, there's nothing like that. So I remember I just gave her my parents' home number. And 2 years later, she retired from playing basketball and she became the assistant coach at Old Dominion. And she still remember me. So she tells Wendy Larry, like, you have to go to Portugal and get this girl. Wendy Larry was like, Portugal? She's probably like, let me get a map. Where's that?
Wendy.
But
I love her.
yeah, both Wendy Larry and Ann Donovan, rest in peace. They both came to Portugal. Ann Donovan was my assistant coach. So they came to Portugal. And I was just mesmerized. And then I went on a visit. And when I went on a visit, they took me to Virginia Beach. They took me to eat seafood. I was like so mesmerized with the campus. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I was like, this is where I'm coming. And so 94 to 98, I was playing at Old Dominion. But yeah, everything happened because of Allison Green.
Oh my goodness. I did not even know that. That's such a beautiful story. And when you were at Old Dominion, you all had some amazing runs, not just in the CAA, which Old Dominion was in then, but also in the NCAA tournament. I remember, what was that? Clarice Machuana. And oh my gosh, your team was so full of international flavor too, right? And what was the guards?
I kind of started and then I said, I got some friends, so they want to come too. And I remember Wendy Larry always tells the story. So she was watching me play, and I had told her that I had a friend, and she kept saying, I hope her friend is a 6'5" post player. And it was Clarice. She was playing in Portugal with me because she's from Mozambique. And at the time she was playing in Portugal with me. So we ended up coming. And then the following year we brought in Mary Andrade, that is also a Portuguese friend of mine. So we made the Portuguese connection at Old Dominion. We did go to the Final Four in 97, and we had some great games against powerhouses as Tennessee, against Step Summit, Stanford. So we did well. And sometimes I wonder, like, what if Allison Green was at a different school? I probably would have gone there. It's so crazy how your life, it's like just develops like that. And sometimes you just don't know what's happening. But I'm so glad I went to Old Dominion. It was hard for me to be away from home, to be away from my family. Again, we don't have FaceTime, we don't have Zoom, we don't have any of that. I had to write letters to my parents, put them in the mail. It was so expensive to call home, but it changed my life forever, and I'm forever grateful.
Well, we're forever grateful too, because listen, if you didn't go to Old Dominion, then we wouldn't have known you in the WNBA. Right after that, you were drafted. What was that draft like for you? And what did you know about the WNBA? Because it was so new when you first got into it.
Yeah, and the crazy part is that when I graduated, I had the ABL too. So I was being recruited by both. And to me, it was like, I want to play in the WNBA. Just to name, like growing up watching Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, the name NBA. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a part of the NBA just on the women's side. So that's how I was thinking. Mm-hmm. But the ABL actually came strong after me. Like they offered me way more money. And I was just like, nope. I want to go. Wow. Yeah. And I made the right decision, because unfortunately the ABL folded a few years later. But, it was a dream come true. I mean, honestly, when I left Portugal, my goal was to become a better player, graduate, and then go play in Europe. There was no WNBA, so that was not even my goal. I just came purposely to just grow as a woman, grow as a player, and then go back to play in Europe. And all of a sudden, it's like, maybe I can play in the WNBA. Well, 15 years later, yeah, I did.
Oh, man. Boy, I'm just in my mind right now. I just see like a highlight reel of all of the things that you did in LA, Sacramento, won a title there too. I mean, what do you remember about your experience as a pro in the WNBA? Like, what are the highlights? If you had maybe I know there's so many though, but if you had three major highlights, some defining moments for you in the WNBA, what would those be?
Well, I would say probably getting drafted was first one. Nothing can start if it doesn't start with you being drafted. And then winning a championship for sure. That's something that we were trying for a long time, but playing in the West back then, it was East versus West. So it was so hard, first with Houston, then LA, Seattle, Phoenix, Minnesota. I mean, it was really, really tough to come out of the West. And finally in 2005, we did it. And if I would say something else, actually, it goes by so fast. I can even imagine, like, I played 15 years of professional basketball, and then I've already been retired for 9. It's like, where does time go? So what I have to say is that sometimes the memories on the court are amazing, but the friendships that you make off the court, some of my teammates are like my best friends now. So that's probably what I value the most now that I'm retired, and I can, count on all the people that I met through basketball to be in my circle.
That's so awesome. Look, so being drafted, winning a championship, and your team camaraderie and your sisterhood with the league, those are the things that stand out to you. That's what's up. I mean, when you guys won in Sacramento, it was 2005.
Yep.
2005. In 2005, that was quite a run, and that was quite a team as well. And what was that like to get over the hump, like you said, and battle through all the teams on the West and then get to the finals and win that championship? What was that moment like for the team?
A lot of work that finally paid off. Sometimes it's so unfair when you watch a game and it's basketball, it's not soccer. Sometimes in soccer teams can tie, right? In basketball, no, you have to have somebody has to win, and then you have to win a championship and somebody has to lose. And it's always hard to be on the other side of losing. But that was great. And the fact that we did it at home in front of our crowd, it was 17,000 people at Arco Arena. At the time, I might be a little biased, but I really felt like we had the best fans in the WNBA. And also knowing that we did it for them, because everybody's still heartbroken how the Monarchs kind of folded. Nobody saw it coming, and there's no closure in Sacramento about how the Monarchs ended. And but at least those fans have those amazing memories, and I know that so many were grateful, because just like us, they were suffering and waiting for a championship, and we finally did it. And to do it in front of our fans was this indescribable feeling, to see the confetti coming down, the cheer of the crowd. Kara stealing the game ball and jumping on the scores table. It was just amazing. I remember vividly, like, every moment after that game, like the celebration in the locker room, everything. So very grateful for that, for sure.
No doubt. And I mean, when you talk about playing in the league for 15 years, you were named to the top 15 at 15, the top 20 at 20. And now this year, the W25, Tish, and just the respect that your game will continue to garner is unmatched. I mean, your style of play, a lot of people, that's why I called you the magician when I introduced you, because you saw things 3 and 4 steps ahead of anyone else on the floor or in the stands or on the coaching staffs from either team. What was that mastering of the game like for you, and how did that feel? Was it just an instinctful thing? I mean, I don't know if anyone can teach what you were able to do on the floor.
Yeah, I always describe it as, I think is a natural feeling, almost like, people that are born with the talent of singing or drawing. I think that I kind of was born with that. Like you said, it's not something that I practiced. I mean, I did watch Magic Johnson play a lot when I was growing up, and he was somebody that I idolized, and I would go to the playground with the boys and try to emulate everything that I had seen him do. But it's really hard to teach that. I just think, I had anticipatory skills. Obviously, I had amazing teammates that helped me with my passes, and you develop chemistry with them, and then things a lot of times work, and a lot of times it's turnovers too. So, or I hit somebody in the head, but definitely amazing coaches that gave me the green light, because they knew that's how I play my best, is when I have fun and I can just be myself, and amazing teammates that connected with me and were able to make me look good. So, but it's definitely a skill that is hard to teach.
No doubt. And I would be one of the players that you would hit upside the head, because I would not know that it would be coming at all. But you mentioned Magic Johnson, and, you played in LA for some time. What kind of relationship did you have with him in terms of letting him know that he was such an inspiration for you as a player?
Yeah, so I have a cute story. This guy in Portugal, he's worked with the NBA, and he's a broadcaster. So he knew Magic, and he I asked him if he could introduce me to him. So I think he was an NBA All-Star. I think we were in Houston back in, I don't even know, early 2000s, maybe 2000. So I was so nervous. I don't really get starstruck, but I was like, oh my God, I'm about to meet Magic. This is crazy. So I met him and he was like, you are Lady Magic. And I'm like, he knows who I am. This is so mind-blowing. So yeah, he was aware because he was watching the games. I mean, obviously I had a chance to play for the Sparks, and actually Kobe Bryant was my coach in my first year with the Sparks. And again, like Kobe as well used to come to the games. So sometimes it's just a little bit, everything sounds a little bit surreal. So yeah, meeting Magic was probably one of the best things that has ever happened to me. And the fact that he knew who I was, it really blew my mind.
And you mentioned Kobe Bryant, the late, great, iconic Kobe, rest in peace to both him and Gianna. But when he was coaching with the team, what kinds of things did he teach you on the floor, just in terms of enhancing what you were already doing so epically well?
Yeah, so Kobe's dad, Joe Bean, oh my God, listen, when we scrimmage, go every WNBA team scrimmage against guys, he actually would play on the guys team and he talked so much trash. He would talk so much trash. He was so funny. He had the fadeaway. And, he played like slow motion because he was, still, he wasn't playing anymore, obviously, but he could still play. And he was a great guy, great mind. Obviously, we have to thank him for having Kobe, and Kobe was somebody that I idolized as well. And I still can't believe that him and Gigi are gone. But yeah, we definitely had fun with Joe Bryant. He's a character for sure.
And what was it about Kobe's influence on the WNBA in terms of his presence with Gigi and all of his girls in his family at the WNBA games, at the NCAA games, watching, cheering for, posting all over social media about how great our game is?
Unmatched. When you have one of the GOATs of the NBA put his stamp of approval on the women's game, whether it's NCAA or WNBA, is him coming to the games. He's like actually invested. He used to hold workouts. I mean, some people might not know that, but at his Mamba Academy in LA, used to have workouts for all the ladies. I had some of my players go there and work out with him personally. So he was really invested. And I don't know if it was because he was a girl dad or really believed in us. Either way, he was our number one fan. And when you have somebody like Kobe put his stamp of approval on our league and our game and our product, he makes the world of difference. And we will definitely will miss him.
And who do you see kind of taking that baton from Kobe with regards to continuing to give the much due respect to women's basketball?
I think there's a lot of guys out there on the NBA side that do watch and support the league. I don't know if we're going to have anybody else like Kobe to be so present, but I know all those guys have a tremendous respect for our league and what we do on the court, off the court, and they are very vocal about it. And I hope that we continue to grow. And to be perfectly clear, we don't need their stamp of approval, but it's nice when we do get it, and we do appreciate it.
No question. Very well said as well. When you said that you would send some of your players to the Mamba Academy, some people may know, but some people may not know that you are now a sports agent and you represent a lot of these ethically talented, dynamic young women in the WNBA.
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to stay close to the game. Is obviously my first love, is what I enjoy doing. Consume my basketball every day. And I was like, I knew that I didn't want to coach. I was like, no, it's too stressful. So let me find something else. And at the time, I just didn't feel there was enough women representing women, also women that actually play. And I'd always tell them, I'm not just an agent. I want to be a mentor. I want to help you to go where you want to go. I have been in your shoes, so I literally can give you advice by experience because I've been there and done that. And I have amazing players that do respect me and respect my knowledge, and they want to know how to go places. And so I'm very blessed, and I really enjoy what I do, and I'm still involved in the game. And this is kind of my way of paying it forward and saying thank you for everything that basketball has done for me.
Right. And when you know what your background was, your international flavor of the game, do you as an agent now look for players and give them those opportunities? Because you were saying that you didn't know exactly how to get to the States when you were a 16-year-old, like you had to have that guidance to get to Old Dominion. Now, as an agent, do you really focus in on giving that insight and those opportunities to young women that were like you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and the thing is, so many players play in the WNBA, and then as soon as it's over, like they have to go overseas, and the overseas life can be tough. You know, you're away from 7, 8 months. Sometimes you don't really see your family. And it's very tiring, not just mentally, but physically. You literally finish one season and then you start another. And then when you finish that, you have to rush over here because the season is about to be underway. So I can relate to all of that. And all I know is that you have that window to be a professional basketball player. And I wanted to maximize it as much as I could. So I wanted to play as many games and in many seasons as I could. But you also have to take care of your body. You have to eat right. You have to drink. You have to drink water. You have to hydrate, you know, all these things. So it's very, very important that, you know, I give them my input and my advice, you know, because that's why I chose this profession, to really help the next generation and to see women's basketball to continue to grow.
And speaking of continuing to grow, you spoke about the ABL and how that didn't quite work out, but the WNBA, I mean, I have on my 25-year shirt in honor of you because, I mean, just the longevity and the sustainability of this league has really been impressive to watch. And now you on the agent side of things, where do you see this game going and growing futuristically?
I mean, it's incredible that it's been 25 years, to be honest with you. And I'm so proud of this league. I'm grateful for Val Ackerman that started it all with David Stern, also rest in peace. But they had this vision and nobody really knew, you know, because we had other attempts of a league that really didn't go through, but we kind of just jump on the bandwagon of the 96 Olympics and how well USA basketball did. And I think it's been amazing to see the league, to be in the league from almost the beginning and to see where it is now, the progress, the product that we have on the floor, the competitiveness. I mean, these young ladies are so amazing. And the league has gotten better and better and better every year. How great it is that now a 10-year-old can really dream about being in the WNBA and know that WNBA is real and is here to stay. And I'm so proud of how far the league has come, but also not just on the court, but I mean, really, let's talk about what these amazing young women have done off the court, all their social injustice fights, everything like that happened in the bubble last year. So I'm extremely proud as kind of a pioneer, and now being on the other side, it's just been an amazing league to be a part of.
No question about it. And Val Ackerman, you were at the Hall of Fame. She was recently inducted there in Springfield. And what was that like to be there, not just for Val Ackerman to go in, but also Chris Webber, your connection with him in Sacramento, and Yolanda Griffith. Like, yeah. How about that? And, you know, you won a championship with her. And what was that like to sit there? I was on your Instagram live when you were like videoing when Yo was speaking, but it was very special, right? But what was it like to be there live?
It's an amazing feeling because, you know, that's the cream, like the pinnacle of basketball when you make it to the Hall of Fame. And obviously I was there mainly for Yo, but then it was so great because Rick Adelman, Chris Webber from the Sacramento Kings, and then Val, which was like so important for women's basketball and for basketball in general. So it's great just to hear everybody's speeches, to just walk around the Hall of Fame. Like, I had never actually been there. So it's just so much history. We are so grateful for the history of the game. And I have a tremendous respect for the people that have paved the way, not just on the women's side, but also on the men's side. And to be where we are today, we are standing on giants' shoulders. And Bill Russell was there. I mean, it's incredible. He has 11 rings. Like, wow, what? Like, that's mind blowing, right? So you just feel like I don't know, like this greatness around you. I mean, Michael Jordan was there with Tony Kukoc. So it was just like there, everywhere you look, there's just like greatness everywhere. I was sitting next to Van Chancellor. So it's like, it's just an amazing weekend, obviously, to honor those that are being inducted, but it's a celebrity of basketball and everything that people have done for this game.
When you were sitting there at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, did you ever have a flashback moment or a reflective moment to who you were in Portugal when you were trying to get to the States to play, and as an Old Dominion player and as a WNBA player? Did you sit there and have any kind of a reflection, like, look at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I do that all the time. I don't even have to be at the Hall of Fame to do that. It's really incredible to me, because I always, one thing that I always say to the next generation, to boys and girls when I speak to them, is for them to like dream big, you know. And I feel like I had amazing dreams and super, you know, big dreams that I didn't even know if I was going to be able to accomplish. But I always rather try and fail than never try, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I know I surpassed everything that I could ever dreamed of. And it was funny because I ran into Cheryl Swoops and Tina Thompson while I was at the Hall of Fame doing my little tour. And sometimes, you know, it's just, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I'm here with these two amazing women, not just players, that also made the top 25 team. And I'm like, and I'm also one of them. It's just mind blowing. So yeah, I mean, it goes back to my roots all the time. And I know that when I played, obviously I play for my team, I play for my city, but I play for my family and I play for my country, because I'm super proud of being Portuguese, and I was the first WNBA player from Portugal, and I know those people root really hard for me, so I always wanted to make them proud, and I think I've done that.
Spectacular. I mean, you've more than done that, Tish, and you have quite the respect across the country every single year or every single time the WNBA, like I said, has recognitions. You have to be a part of the history that has been woven in for the WNBA. And the WNBA right now, the postseason is set. The playoff table is nicely ready for the feast that we're going to have in the next couple of weeks. What do you see from these playoff scenarios moving forward? Because now, with it being a little bit different with the single elimination, it's do or die time every single night.
Yeah, I think anything can happen, honestly. I think it's up for grabs. Obviously, you have to look at Connecticut and Vegas. First, they have the double bye, but they also have been the most consistent through the regular season, and that's how they got the double bye. But I'm really looking forward to the Chicago-Dallas game. I think that's going to be a great game. Dallas is playing better now. Chicago has all the tools. I mean, they have a team that is designed to win a championship. So it's going to be interesting. But like I said, it's 40 minutes of basketball. Anything can happen. And I'm here for it, because it's going to be amazing. I've been waiting for these playoffs for a long time. I think this is going to be one of the best playoffs in league history.
I am super excited as well, but I am beyond grateful and thankful that you took time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with us right here on Christy's Court on the Field of 68 Network. Tish, you know I love you. You know I have a ton of respect for you. I see you all the time at the Mystics games in DC, but now the Mystics are done for the season. But I know that you will continue to have your stamp on this game and continuing to inspire and empower so many young women that are going to continue to grow our game. So we appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christy. I appreciate your words and your kindness and your knowledge and everything that you do for women's basketball. So anytime you need me, I'm here. That's what I do. I love talk women's basketball or basketball in general, and I appreciate you so much. So thanks for having me, and let's enjoy these playoffs.
That's right. That's all we have to say is count it, right? Let's get a count it. Count it. Thank you, Tish.
Thank you. Bye-bye.